Hey everybody, Billy Watkins here with the Whole Package by Premier Packaging. Today I'm joined by Premier Packaging's design manager, right?
Packaging
design manager, Tom Mason. Tom?
Hey Billy, thanks for having me here.
It's good you're here. Your second time on our little show.
That's right.
Fond memories of the last one.
Oh, yeah,
sure.
It was great.
You want to take a few moments to kind of tell us about yourself, how you got here, how you got into packaging design?
Sure. I have been with Premier. I'm just about at my 9-year anniversary point. Got into packaging because of my love of art and design. Way back in the day, thought about becoming an accountant or designer, but packaging really kind of blends them both. There's a lot of creativity, but there's a real heavy analytical side. I've really enjoyed my time here and expect to be here for many years to come.
Awesome. Today we are specifically talking about packaging design, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean that's a big bucket. There's a lot.
Yes.
There's a lot to that, right?
Yes.
Like you just said. I mean, it's there's creativity involved, but also a lot of analytical. I mean, you're bound by physics.
Yes,
basically,
constraints
right?
of manufacturing, what the customer needs for it to work for their product or items. Yeah.
For the point of today's show, I will be and to help kind of highlight Premier's capabilities in the design realm. I get to be the customer today.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. I'm disgruntled.
No, please not from the beginning.
I'm starting off happy.
No.
The product I'm shipping, nitrile gloves.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure why I got into the import-export business of nitrile gloves. I was trying to think of we can go generic here. I was trying to, just in the last few moments, think of a name for my company. I've only come up so far with Billy Hands, and which I think is kind of nice, or the glove guy.
Oh, those both work very well.
So we'll figure that out as we go. But so how often does this happen where a customer just comes to you with a product and says, I just need a box to ship this in?
Yeah, that's actually a pretty large amount of what we do here. It doesn't always feel like it within design, though, because this sort of project is pretty cut and dry. When the customer has a very defined set of parameters, they know their product, they know how they want to ship it. So we spend a lot more of our time working on more dynamic, unique, custom packaging solutions. So sometimes those can feel like there's a lot more, but we do it all. Right. And this is a great bread and butter aspect of what we do here at Premier.
So here I am. I'm the customer. I've got my box of nitrile gloves. I need something to ship them in. Can you handle that for me?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
What's the first step in the process?
Yeah, so first step in the process, we've already got that here, is customer via the sales rep will provide us with the samples that they want to package. In this case, we're looking at packaging 3 packs of these gloves, and I'll flesh out the dynamic for you of what I believe we discussed on this project, which is, the glove guy. I was trying to remember what name we're using here.
The glove guy
wants to be able to ship a 3-pack of these cartons to their customers. So there's various questions we would ask, and sales would help work out to help us create this simple box, such as knowing how it would be utilized through distribution, their distribution system. It'll be, let's say it's going to be palletized and moved through there, but the actual items are going to be shipped small parcel to the customer. So we get the product, we know some of those additional factors, then it comes to the design team, and they will work on developing the box. In this case, it'll just be a simple RSC, right size for these gloves. They can drop in, easy sturdy pack, easy for the customer to take back out and use the product.
Perfect. And that's what you're looking for, is it's just big enough. It's not.
Yep, just big enough. Yeah, you'll notice there's a little bit of a gap here, right? This is so that the customer actually can get in there.
Yep.
It's not going to be hard to put them in to the package itself, but it's also tight enough around it that it's not going to be jostled around and damaged in transit.
And certainly, depending this type of product, you're not really too much worried about. It's not a fragile.
Right. It's not excessively heavy. It's not fragile. Correct. So, but those are considerations that can come up at times, even with something as simple as this. And we discuss that with the customer and work to find the best solution for their situation.
So Tom, let's dig in here a little bit more. What tools does a packaging designer use to come up with the appropriate design for a piece?
Yeah, so for something like this, one of the most important things is obviously they're going to measure the product to start with. When we go to draw it, we use Artios CAD. That's our primary CAD designing software, but the designer themselves are going to ask questions as part of their tool. So they're going to, even though the customer has given us a lot of information to go on, they're still going to take things into consideration, such as the exact size of all the product together, the weight of it all together, and they're going to use that to help determine the right style of carton and also what board grade to use, especially if the customer might be unsure about that. We've had instances where a customer seems like they know exactly what they want too. They might want 32C because they hear it's cheap, but we might look at the product and find out that it's a little too heavy for that, and we need to bump it up just so they won't have excessive damages.
So, and not only are we looking for just structurally what's it going to take to ship a product, you guys are also keeping in mind cost savings, right? Can we even
cost
run
savings,
this on a machine?
Premier run it? Yeah, can it run on this machine or that machine, and other issues that it might cause depending on the choices we make to create this box.
That's awesome. So yet again, it's just the parameters are kind of endless, aren't they?
Yeah.
Which I'm sure makes your job fun.
Yeah. It makes even a simple box unique almost every single time.
Not so simple. I would say the exact same thing about nitrile gloves. You think? No.
You would know. You're the expert.
I'm the expert. So after that, what do they move on to? What's the next step?
Yeah, next step, and this it can go two ways. If this is a very simple print, the customer might just have to put the cert stamp and a part number just to help them identify what this carton is. But in most cases, especially if we're shipping direct to a customer, our customer,
right,
Billy
hands. It's terrible.
Might want some print. In this case, because you're undecided, you just have this cool logo that you provided to our team. And our team will take some of these assets that you provide, such as your logo, but then we can help facilitate, if you don't have this already, creating some additional graphics, calling out the size that's in this pack, how many there are, and we'll get it set up, the graphics set up on the box, and go ahead and print it on one of our Flexo folder gluers.
And before this, you would probably send me something like, that design for my approval, right? And I would say, ooh, I like this. This is perfect. This is approved.
That's right. I jumped ahead of that a little bit, but yeah. We would make this structure. We talked about the sizing and everything. It would be given to the customer. They would see a spec. They would see the sample in order to validate for themselves that it was going to work within their operation, whether how it's being packed out or how it's being transmitted to their end users.
And then as the next step in the process, you're designing the graphics.
Correct.
And putting those on there. Similarly, I would receive something else showing me print placement for approval.
That's exactly right. We send out art for approval PDFs on every single thing that we design. So the customer can be shown that. They will review, sign, and return to us. That way we know we have the art set up right for color, placement, and any other particularities before we set the item up and start running it.
All right. So Tom, I've been Mr. Nice Guy. But I'm now the customer that is I'm scared of economic uncertainty and tariffs hitting my gloves, and I want my boxes. What's the next step?
So we talked about setting up the graphics file, building that up for you, and sending a PDF, making sure that's all approved. But sometimes with considerations like that, the customer wants a little more. They want a little more surety that everything's set up just right and looking right. So one of the things we like to do, especially for boxes like this where they're a little bit more typical, is we will make a 3D rendering of that. Doing that, we can show the box folded up, closed, turn it around, let the customer see exactly how the logo is placed on each side and how that all relates to each other, rather than having to look at it just as a straight flat design. Right. It's very important, especially when we're dealing with things like die cuts, where some customers maybe aren't as familiar.
I mean, they look like a puzzle piece flat, and you have no idea what they're going to look like all folded up. And then you're able to do these 3D renderings, email it to me, show me virtually. Electronically.
We can send it along with the our prepared PDFs if that's requested, or later on if we discover that's something the customer needs, and it saves a lot of time and it's a real quick way to just show them and give them a little bit more reassurance that their box is what they expect it to be.
That is awesome. I am placated now. I am a happy customer. Thank you. Box approved. Let's go.
All right.
Good deal. So that's kind of from beginning to end how the design process looks for something simple like this, just a printed RSC. Some customers, of course, will come to us with a product that requires way more in-depth design process, right?
Yes.
How does that go?
Well, there's a lot more involved in that, and but there will be a lot more considerations taken into effect with that. The biggest thing that comes out with this sort of design, we're solving a problem for the customer, right? They need a package for this box, but they really know what they need. In those cases, it's more they have a problem and we are going to work on creating some sort of unique solution. So there's going to be a lot more discussions, a lot more exploration with the customer to understand the full scope of what they're going through and what they're dealing with, and how we can create a unique package design that will solve their problem.
What are some of the frequent unique problems that we see?
A big one is resolving damages from previous suppliers, trying to pack things out differently, reducing cost. That's always a challenge, though. Sometimes when you're trying to protect, it can raise costs, but we try and look at the whole situation and take into account that while the package may in some instances cost a little more, we might be resolving a logistical issue where it takes longer to pack out, and now ours is quicker to pack out.
Right.
So there's a lot of different factors that come into play, and we try and take them all into consideration when we present a solution.
And really, that process, there's, I'm sure, a lot of back and forth, a lot of samples going back and forth. I mean, what's a really long kind of process? What's a typical turnaround, and what's a one that we've developed where it's, I mean, have we gone 6 months back and forth?
We have. There has been projects like that. Typically, they're not quite that long, but a really challenging product can take a nice solid week for us to develop a good viable solution. But even with that, after presenting that, the customer will take it in, review things, and there might have been an item that they didn't disclose to us or wasn't known until they saw how we decided to resolve the problem. And then we'll go back to the drawing board, maybe with a small edit, or maybe we have to, reevaluate the whole solution.
Yeah, and this is to point out, this is a process that we undertake and work with customers on. It's not like we're charging for this, right?
Yes,
I mean, this is something that we provide.
Courtesy service for sure.
Awesome. Very impressive. I'm glad to know a little bit more about it from start to finish. Well, Tom, thank you for making me a happy customer. Thanks for showing us some of the ins and outs of the Design Lab, how you all make magic happen on a daily basis. I appreciate that. I'm also excited because it's a two-parter. We're going to be back. It's like a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
What's going to happen next to Billy Hands? But next time we'll see a little bit more of what the Design Lab can do when a customer throws something really, really exciting towards us, right?
That's right.
So thank you very much, Tom, for joining us today. I am your host for The Whole Package by Premier Packaging, Billy Watkins. Until next time, Bye-bye.
Do you have comments, questions, or ideas about this topic? If so, we'd like to hear from you. Please visit primpack.com/podcast to let us know what you think. Thanks.